Transformers Dark of the Moon. Should have been Dark Side of the Moon, but of course it has a lot of copyright on it. Now, Transformers Dark of the Moon is, of course, the sequel to the last two Transformers movie. This is also be known as Transformers 3, and I was excited to see this film just to see how they would follow up to the not-so-good Transformers 2. I didn't loathe 2, but I didn't like it, and yeah. Now, I do like Transformers 1. I thought Transformers 1 was a good movie, and it was very enjoyable. 2, I was mildly entertained by it, but there's just so much crap that, overweighs the entertainment value that you end up not liking it. Now, this movie is definitely my favorite of the three Transformers movie. And for reasons I'll explain now. It seems like all the Transformers movie are the same three movies. Something happens, Shia LaBeouf's trying to be normal, his character's trying to be normal, he's trying to adapt to something like, college or now this time a job, and trying to get a job, and then some crazy conspiracies going on that he gets thrown back into this Transformers world, and, there we go, we got action, tons of crazy stuff going underway. And yeah, that's basically what I see from these three films. And I thought this was the best version of those three movies. Now, this movie has decent acting. It's a lot better than the acting in Transformers 2. Rosie Huntington, who replaced Megan Fox, although she didn't have a great performance, I thought she was decent enough to be better than Megan Fox, of course. And, we have John Turturro, who, he just always seems kind of useless to me. He's one of those characters who, he made sense in the first one. And, they didn't need to bring him back in the second one, but they did. And they just kind of threw him in. The same exact thing happens in this movie. He's just kind of thrown in with the rest of the plot, and he's also there for comic relief. And speaking about the comedy, the Asian guy from The Hangover, I'm too lazy to look up his name, he's in this movie, and I thought he was just terrible. I did not like him. Now, there's one part I did like about him. I wish he was kind of a cameo. He does sort of have a cameo appearance, but he's in the movie for a little too much that, kind of breaches off from cameo to, short appearance. But if he just had this one, funny scene where he's in an elevator where you, first see him, that would have been perfect. He was hilarious in that scene, and I really laughed in that scene. But if they continue with his character, tried to, make him a character, and he's, conspiracying with this one Decepticon and all this crap, that part I thought was terrible. He just went over the top. He's almost like the Hangover character. He takes off his pants. He's almost naked. I was just like, wow, why are they throwing this in here? I didn't want to see that coming. And John Malkovich is also Shia LaBeouf's boss, and he's okay, but he's also kind of like the Asian guy. He just wasn't really that necessary. I kind of thought it would have been a little bit better if they just left out that whole crap about Shia LaBeouf trying to get a job. It didn't really seem like it mattered, like the college thing and too. So yeah, the guy who plays the army people, they're kind of the serious characters. A couple of them have their couple strange, funny moments, but they're kind of the serious bunch of the actors, and they're the only ones who don't really make any comic relief parts. And the voice casting for this movie is really good. I actually really like the voice casting. Optimus Prime is awesome. Megatron's cool. Starscream, the guy does a perfect job voicing him, even though it is annoying, obviously. And Leonard freaking Nimoy as Sentinel Prime. You can probably see that Star Trek poster right there. You guys know I like Star Trek, maybe. He was so good as Sentinel Prime, and I really liked that part, and that just made that character so much better. And they throw in a couple really good Star Trek references with him. Love that. And yeah, just some fantastic voice casting. Yeah. Oh, and one more thing, Dr. McDreamy from Grey's Anatomy is in it. He's a pretty big character, so he makes a strange appearance in this movie as well. And overall, the action and special effects are some of the best I've ever seen. This movie is beyond entertaining, even though it does have that, 2 hour and 30-minute runtime, which, makes me feel a little bit uneasy. It's ridiculously entertaining, and the last hour of this film is just so good. It's just so cool. The last hour is really good of this movie, and there's just a lot of action. It's almost non-stop until the end. Now, of course, there are some bad parts of this movie. Some of the acting's a little mediocre at sometimes, and there's just so many unnecessary parts of this movie. It's 2 hours, and 30 minutes long. Doesn't need to be that long. And there's just some unnecessary like points. Even though this like okay, this one thing annoyed me is they're after like this or like during this big battle scene at the end, they just show Rosie Huntington like walking like slow motion, zooming in on her face, and then things are blowing up the background, and she has like perfect like makeup and all this crap. I did not like that shot, even though it was like 2 seconds long. It just annoyed me. I'm like, yeah, don't. Why would you put that shot in the movie? But I mean, if you watch The King's Speech or The Social Network, then watch this movie. You're going to hate it. You're going to be like, what the heck did I just watch? You need to watch this movie knowing what you're getting into. You're getting into a fantastic action film. It's so entertaining. And you might have a couple laugh out loud moments, but all the rest of the comedy is going to flip flat and maybe make you cringe and be like, ugh, why'd they put that in there? But there's a lot less, like, sexual humor in this movie, like the one parts in Transformers 2, and there are no Skids and freaking Jar Jar Binkses in this movie. There are two comic relief robots, and they're pretty funny. I mean, they're a lot better than the other comic relief robots in the other movie. Those two comic relief robots in the old movie, Skids and Mudflat, they were terrible. I hated them. But, yeah, so overall, I mean, Transformers 3 is pretty good. It's my favorite Transformers movie. That might not be saying much to some of you, but I was really entertained by it. And, yeah, I also did see it in 3D. I don't think it's really worth the 3D because, I mean, the ticket that I had to see it in, I was like, it was in Washington, D.C. because I was up there for vacation. But I had to see it in 3D for $13.50. That's a really steep price. I'd rather just go see it at Super Matinee at my theater for $5, which is awesome. But I definitely think that it wasn't really worth 3D. But if you can find a cheap 3D price, it's pretty good 3D. And overall, I mean, Transformers has some good moments, some bad moments, and it's too long. So, there's some crappy comedy. And yeah, but there's one thing that I really liked about this movie is the crowd I saw it with. And this was so funny. Optimus Prime, at one point gives this, inspiring speech. And then all the people in the crowd, like, some people even stood up and they're all cheering and clapping. Like, woo! Woo! And I was just, like, laughing out loud. I'm like, I never do that in a movie. I laugh, maybe, but I don't ever cheer. But I thought that was so funny, and I was like, yes, that's awesome. So overall, I'll give Transformers 3, or Transformers Dark of the Moon, a 7.5 out of 10. So I hope you enjoyed my review. I definitely recommend checking it out. I know this review is a bit long, but this is a start of a new channel, and I hope you guys liked it. My reviews should be shorter in the future, but there's a lot to say with this film. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.